So, priestess, what do you know of why you had left?
Please call me Helene.
Yes. You had a young one with you, I remember, from that night. I think it was a
Yes,
night.
I know that it's going to seem like a strange inquiry, but how long ago was that night?
Mm, it's not every day that a priestess of our Blue Lady ends up on one's doorstep. It's 9, 10 years, perhaps.
I thought it might have been something like that. I am relieved to still hear you refer to her as our Blue Lady. The gold adornments have been a bit distressing to see. When did that happen?
At the time that I actually moved set up this little inn, the ones that started painting gold and wanting gold didn't take kindly to those that remembered the Blue Lady. If anything, this is sort of protection for myself because, well, I provide a service. He looks outside, trying to peek out. He's definitely looking for something.
So just to make sure that
He's
I understand correctly, the symbols of Mishakal in here are they gold or blue?
make me a perception check because you don't see any obvious signs at
Okay.
first glance.
Yeah, of
Oof.
course.
You perhaps look around and expectant of a a pure symbol, so to speak, of your faith, but nothing immediately jumps out as something one who is uh, beholden to Mishakal would have
Okay.
in a commonplace, even. But he is leaning out the window and trying to see outside. It is dark. Nighttime is approaching, if not here already. The golden loops, at least the ones that wanted more, that was more recent.
How
It
recent?
started, well, relatively. I moved out of Terryn, the from the south, maybe 3 years ago, and then sometime my son and my daughter, when they visit for supply runs, they said that they started. It's very strange in Myrefall, the main temple of Mishakal. It started there maybe a few growing seasons ago. It never really had much need to go there, especially, well, considering. And he looks and looks down at his hands, and you can see there's nicks and scarring of various things that a person, well, some minor healing, if anything, could have helped. Instead of the weathered, aged skin of this man. All things considered, he's all right, but
Mhm. I left that night because I had discovered what I assume now to be the beginnings of the corruption that we see now. I had no idea that it would become this bad. Maybe if I hadn't left, I could have done something.
do you mean that the temple began raising the dead as well?
I don't know that we ever talked about this, Zerg, but is raising the dead something that Helene would have seen ever?
Um, in very rare cases, and your mentor, as it were,
Mhm.
did not possess that ability herself.
Okay.
But if someone of greater station would visit from, say, a capital of the province or this country, then maybe.
Okay. All right, I gotcha. Raising the dead? Wait, you don't mean that that's what's outside?
Um, I hope not.
Raising the dead was not something that I was familiar with during my time. On very rare occasions, maybe, but it was certainly not a common practice.
Well, priestess, this type of dead raising. Well, I'm very grateful for this mysterious stranger's um, little wand of making loud noises and bright booms. I hear it every so often when he goes around to, well, I still don't know how exactly you're able to converse, but he's a good enough hunter. You're eating some of what he has found. Not that great at dressing, though. We've had to salvage. But
His circumstances seem to be similar to mine. Well, all of my companions, in fact. Uh, I I wish that I had an answer for why I've been gone why I've been gone so long, but I'm honestly still hazy on the details myself. It was not by my own volition that I stayed away for as long as I have. And
yes, your child, yes? You,
yes,
the one that you were with. She used to come by.
when was the last time you saw her?
Not since someone chopped down that tree by the river. Though she had the acolyte's dress on, but the last time I saw her, she said that, well, I never got her name. And that time I had the feeling I wouldn't see her for a long time. She was traveling in traveling clothes. And it's very hard to forget a child's face like that, as determined as she was. But she said that her name was written now, and she was going to go somewhere and thanked me for my hospitality. Does that have any meaning to you?
I believe that she may have bastardized her father's name, perhaps. But I don't care what she goes by. I'm just relieved that you've seen her since that night. I didn't know what happened to her. But she looked okay the last time you saw her.
Uh, yes, she did. Very determined, and if I had, why do you say so myself, for having a nose about travelers on their ways and knowing what sort of circumstances they meet and leave an old innkeep, She was angry. But she
Angry.
did have a stone with her around her neck. By the way, Helene, where is
Mhm.
where is your focus, or rather this amulet of your deity? Both of them?
Mine or Kendron's?
Both.
Well, mine, Helene's is around her neck. Kendron's is kind of tied around her belt.
Okay.
And at his mentioning of the pendant that she carried, Helene is going to take the stone from her belt and just lay it on the table in front of her. This one?
And he reaches out a hand, though makes eye contact with you, halting.
She she just gives a nod.
He picks up the stone and his thumb brushes over it, seemingly not feeling that faint trace until the digit begins making the familiar loop of infinity that has been worn away by someone, something. Ah, I don't know if this is the same one, but if she was to be training to follow your footsteps, then I wonder why she would keep such a old keepsake. Is this... He furrows his brow. Was this the father's?
Yes.
Ah. And with a slightly larger degree of reverence, he offers it back.
She takes it and ties it around her belt where it had been before. This is going to sound strange, but to my recollection, that night was just a few months ago. The fact that it's been a decade or more is hard to reconcile. I'm just relieved to know that they didn't get their clutches in her after I left.
Oh, whoever they were or are. Looks like they failed in the end, if you're still here.
I'm not even sure who they are myself. I didn't know what I expected to find in coming back here, but it definitely wasn't this. To see Lady Mishikal's symbol perverted in such a way.
Yes.
It's, and seeing the depth of their greed, their hypocrisy. They claim to embody the teachings of Mishakal, who preaches generosity and altruism for their own sake, and they are charging for healing services. I had hoped that it wouldn't go this far. It just started with skimming off the donations. That's when I left. I don't know how long it took them to go further with it, but I saw the writing on the wall.
going off that I do remember in Myrefall the call for donations was a little bit more urgent. Some time after you left and were on my doorstep, actually. But it wasn't. I don't know. The clergies, the other clerics and acolytes, it's not as if they were being greedy at that time. There was an urgency that, well, they did not disclose to lay people like myself, but there was a reason behind it then. Now it's charging for healing, charging for burials, charging for. Well, they don't even help to protect the roads.
It's sickening. I can't believe they've fallen so far.
I wouldn't place a burden onto your shoulders to try and find out what happened. You're here for your daughter, yes?
Yes, but I cannot. Seeing what has become of my home, I can't allow this to continue.
He
If
casts a slow look over to the assembled group of uh, your companions, and then looks over to you. If you think that you were able, but would they? Are they here for you, or
at the moment they
I've come
seem
to not
to be.
I've come to not expect much from anyone that isn't interested in a place to rest under the night.
I'm so sorry that your faith has become so shaken in my absence. Things aren't
Uh,
supposed to be this
perhaps it
way.
is perhaps it is being rewarded. Though I suppose if you do go about investigating things, the man over there does has been disappearing for longer periods of time. I wonder if puttering around and making little dust piles all over my inn has been boring him. And if you're able to talk to him, then well, perhaps he's found something out. Ever since those things begin creeping around at night or a little bit earlier than sundown at times, I'm able to usually shamble a little bit faster than the meatier ones, but it's the ones that don't have meat or are just skin and bones I worry about. Though I should busy myself in the your friends require refreshments. I can see one of them is the 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 unicorn one is. Uh, I think I might need another barrel of ale at this point.
It better make it two. Oh, Reese, before you go,
Yes, my
Helene's
lady.
gonna Helene's going to reach into this uh, the coin purse that she has tied to her belt. She doesn't have much on her, but she's going to take what she has, which is just 15 gold pieces, and she's going to press it into his hands. It's not much, and it can't make up for all the suffering that that you've experienced these last long years, but I hope that with this you'll trust me when I say that I will do everything I can. And you don't owe me a thing.
He accepts the coins, though he picks up 3, 4, then offers back the rest of the 11. This is this is more than enough for an old innkeep like me. There are others that could make do with this that You were more likely to encounter more than me. Like I said, I'm barely faster than the meaty ones.
Helene just gives a soft smile and then she nods and takes the 11 back. You told me once to pay it forward. I hope now I'm actually able to deliver.
I do say that you shine almost as blue as Our Lady in a certain light. There's a warm grandfatherly smile.
I've always tried. And I'm relieved that you think so, especially during these times. The Blue Lady's blessings on you, Reese.
He nods and does a 2 or 3 quarter and half bows. He comes over to Dusty and tries to get his attention with a hand wave. And then he pokes Dusty on the shoulder.
Dusty looks up from the table and looks over at him.
Reese points at Dusty, points over to Helene, and then with the other hand makes the 2 fingers tap moving hand gestures.
All right. And Cowboy grabs his tankard, moves over here.
Reese moves towards the kitchen, and then there's a faint, "This is a very large spider. How did it get in?" Ah! There's a sound of a couple of stomps, but it seems that
Oh, no.
he's looking around. And
Heavens.
the spider. Oh, good heavens! The spider seems to have escaped vengeance as he's looking around, up and down and around the cupboard that it's skittered underneath to safety. And then he goes inside the kitchen. The Dusty takes the old man's place on the table.
Mm-hmm. He looks over to Helene. Well, I suppose the old man wants me over here. For what? I don't know.
I hope that we didn't pull you away from a winning hand.
Nah, I ain't too good at that poker over there, whatever they were playing.
He told me that you might be able to fill in some blanks for me that he wasn't able to fill in himself.
Sure, ask away. If I know it, I'll let you know.
Well, this might seem like a broad inquiry, but maybe you can tell me a bit about what you've seen as you've been out hunting, I assume. The gold infinity symbols you've seen around here. Can you tell me about the people that carry them, maybe?
Wait, what golden infinity symbol you speak of?
She points to the infinity symbol that's on her own tabard, except hers is blue.
Well, I can't quite say I recognize those symbols. Most of the things I see out there are the undead roaming around.
So they are undead.
I mean, I assume so with the kind of massive wounds and rotting persona they have.
I know you've only been here for a few days, correct?
About 7 or 8 now, I believe.
So you wouldn't be able to tell me how long they've been coming around here.
Nah, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. What I would be able to tell you is, I have noticed they tend to steer away from this inn here.
That's interesting. GM,
Yes.
What- Would Helene have any working knowledge of undead that would allow her to be able to make an educated guess as to why they might be steering clear of this in particular?
Um, I think that as a representation of your familiarity with the man, his property, as well as your training, you can roll me religion at advantage.
Okay, I'll take that. Will you allow me to guidance myself?
Sure. Dusty, what's your reaction to the priestess in front of you, or the casting some magic?
I mean, if it's not affecting me, probably nothing.
The fact that the undead appear to, as accounted by this dusty fellow, steer clear of this place, coupled with the great amount of faith that the proprietor of the inn seems to keep in the Blue Lady, you suppose that it could be possible that this place could be hallowed after a fashion.
Okay. I don't suppose you've taken any notice as to where they're coming from.
Actually, I have. When I'm out hunting, I tend to steer away from the south. I assume fresher bodies tend to come from there.
GM, what is south of here?
The town of Terryn and the city of Myrefall.
Okay. The implications are not pleasant.
Indeed.
I was hoping you wouldn't say that, but also, given everything that I've come to learn the past few hours, I'm not especially surprised. Are
It
they?
sounds like you ain't new around here.
No, I've been gone for a very long time, evidently, but this was my home once.
And the rest of your crew here?
Oh, they're not from around here, but like you and I, we started off one place and suddenly woke up in a very different place.
Yeah, sounds about right. Either way, you were about to ask a question. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, that's quite all right. I'm just a little seeing my home in the state that it's in is a little unsettling. I hope that this won't be an unreasonable request, but I don't know how comfortable you are with the arrangement that you have with Reese here, especially knowing that you two apparently can't converse with each other, but you're the only one that seems to know anything about the undead situation, and based on what you've told me, I have reason to believe that they're coming from, or at least very near, the place that I once called home. And I would like very much to investigate it. Since you seem to have more knowledge of these undead souls, at least more so than any of the rest of us, would you be willing to accompany me?
I'd be willing to help. It was sort of my last job in where place I came from, so not too much different here.
Well, if you refer to it as a job, so I don't know if you're expecting compensation, but I don't know that we can pay you, but I would very much hope that you would at least be willing to do me a kindness.
It's fine. I'm willing to help. And then to investigate this place more, see if any of my other crew came here.
Your crew. So you weren't alone when you disappeared from... Where exactly did you say you were from?
Well, I came from City Z myself. We jumped on the train to go somewhere, and next thing I know, there's a sudden bright flash, and I end up here. In the forest a little bit to the north.
Zerg, am I remembering correctly that a bright flash is something that Helene also experienced before waking up in Cole's place?
The experience is for those that were shoved into the soul gems and subsequently broke out of them. It would be easy to recall that it was a violet flash.
Violet flash, okay.
And the feeling that you were seeing the world through, I guess, ice.
Okay.
Very thick ice. It's purple.
And you weren't encased in a gem when you woke up. You just woke up on the forest floor. I know that sounds odd, but my companions and I were all encased in some kind of purple gemstone when we woke up.
That is a little odd, but no. I woke up face down in the mud.
That seems unpleasant, but still, the fact that you saw a flash of light and then woke up somewhere strange seems a bit too coincidental.
That it does. And it seems like we may have had somewhat similar experiences, except, well, you with the crystal.
Yeah. Well, it's my understanding that my companions were kind enough to come here for me, but I believe that at some point it's our intention to try to help each other and try to figure out what happened to all of us. So perhaps the compensation that we can offer is that if you help us, then we'll help you find your friends, figure out what happened to you.
I won't say no to a couple extra set of eyes looking.
Helene just gives a what you perceive to be, you haven't known her for long, but what you would perceive to be a genuine smile. And she just reaches across the table and holds her hand out to you.
Cowboy shakes it, reaches out.
Thank you, Dusty.
Mm-hmm. Now, well, before we end our conversation here, is there anything else you want to know about the forest around here?
Well, what can you tell me?
Well, when I woke up to the north, I did notice a couple more interesting figures. I decided to stay out of their line of sight, because, new place and all. But knowing now what I know, it seems like they may have been up dead. But a little more older than what we're currently dealing with. They
Older?
Well, I mean by older is, I assume smarter. They didn't quite roam as much as the other meaties that walk around.
What, you mean that they were intelligent?
They seemingly were more bound to one area than the rest of them. Near halfway up north.
GM, what's north?
That would be the foothills leading up towards the mountains, probably within a day's walk, or half a day's walk, if in a more of a fast pace.
Oh, you son
Also,
of a bitch.
what?
Nothing.
Oh, um, also a little memory sparks. That was also the only road north would be actually past this inn towards a certain destination. A certain someone was sent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, God. Okay. You see Helene visibly tense when you mention that it was north.
I'm assuming that's a problem.
I don't know, but I think that it's something that I need to investigate further.
Well, it's
GM,
not too far out.
out of curiosity, GM, what Dusty has just described to her, undead that seem more intelligent than just the thralls that are walking around that seem bound to one area, is that something that sounds familiar to her?
Such undead could only be maintained by someone or something with the power to create and, well, keep bound such creatures.
So so she would be able to make a reasonable assumption that it's not the place specifically to which it's bound, it's the person that created it.
Yes.
Okay,
It has been given orders and it has the capacity to follow them.
gotcha. Okay. This is troubling, to say the least.
Got that right. The only thing that I know of that tends to make the smarter ones are either vampires or blood fiends.
I don't especially like the sound of either of those. Do you have personal experience with them?
Where I'm from, they're a little more rare. The only time we tend to get them is when a necromancer tends to go a little more, crazy. Vampires are much harder to find.
Helene nods to Dusty's gun. Does that weapon of yours have the capability to take care of them, as it were?
If you're asking about silver bullets, sadly no. Those tend to be a little more expensive than what I tend to get paid.
Right.
Now, there's one more thing. I didn't investigate too far because, well, being on my own, I'm not going to investigate something else seems to be leaving alone.
Of course.
Off to the west, there's what I assume to be a battlefield. Quite a lot of bodies around, but roughly in the middle, there's one body left, kind of alone.
A battlefield? Like a recent battle?
From what I can see, yes.
Are you, of course, you're not from around here. You wouldn't know anything about the participants, but are you able to tell me anything about perhaps what they were wearing? Or were they identifiable in any way?
Most of them were a little more damaged identified, but there was one kind of reminds me of some sort of animal, but walks on two legs, kind of like our friend over there. He nods back to the unicorn. And there was one body that was a little more armored. Thing is about it, it didn't look like he had a pleasant way out. Kind of looks like he was burnt from the inside out.
Burned from the inside out. Is that kind of magic? I assume that it's magical. Is that kind of magic anything that Helene would have even just an intellectual knowledge of?
I believe this would be something you would need to see for yourself and investigate.
Okay, that's fair. And also, obviously, he doesn't know anything about who the participants in this battle were, so I'm not going to ask about that. But what what was west where this battle would have taken place?
If you're asking
It would have
Cowboy,
been.
No, I'm asking
Oh,
the DM.
sorry. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
DM would say west would be um could be
Oh,
across the bridge, could be the switchback going south and then west.
okay.
Though if roll me a history check.
Okay.
Let's have some dice do some remembering maybe.
Come
And
on,
you can
dice.
guidance yourself.
Appreciate it. Be good to me, please.
History check. Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'll take a 15.
A strange vision, a strange stepping through time, waking dream. While in Barovia, you remember at the end of this strange scene that there was one individual that had been, one could say, executed in rather vivid fashion. A fallen paladin, one would assume.
Okay. I don't know if this place would have a personal connection to me like the others would, but still, what you describe is something that I feel the need to investigate further. So, if you don't mind helping me, of course.
I don't mind at all. Just let me know which way we're going, and I'll prepare for it.
Well, I think that perhaps I need to think about it, maybe sleep on it. Try to get a sense of where I think we need to go first.
Dusty nods and takes a swig from his tankard.
Well, I won't.
He's not gonna say anything.
Well, I won't take up any more of your time. If you'd like to get back to losing your game, then you're more than welcome.
I think I'll stay over here. I don't quite got much gold left to be betting on.
Well,
Actually,
I
I have
don't
no
know.
idea how much gold I have left, so.
Follow me, you took it all. You only think that you have gold. It's actually illusions.
Well, I don't know that I'll be an especially good conversation partner, but I would welcome the company.
Yeah, let's stay on over here and leave the rest of them to enjoy the game.
Helene will nod and she'll just kind of stare at the pitcher of water and the pitcher of ale in front of her, and her hand will kind of twitch and make to look like she's going for the ale, but then she thinks better of it at the last minute, and then she reaches for the water pitcher and she pours herself a cup, and she just takes a hold of it and just kind of raises it in your direction.
Cowboy would, hit your cup too.
Yeah. And then
Well,
I think
cheers,
that she
I
would
suppose.
cheers. And then I think that just as she considers just everything she's learned between Reese and Dusty, she's just going to fall into a contemplative silence.
All right, Helene. Contemplations come. How did you feel about hearing what is most assumedly so Kendra's current circumstances, or at least the last of them, last known of them.
There is, unsurprisingly, still that sense of sorrow that she's been feeling ever since she discovered that it has been 10 years or more since her disappearance. But oddly, hearing from Reese, even though it's been a minute since the last time you saw her, just knowing that he's seen her at all, and knowing that the church didn't get a hold of her again and she's not caught up in the corruption that is happening now, there's an odd sense of bittersweet relief in knowing that not only has she been seen and that she was well, but that she's living her own life in spite of being, for lack of a better word, abandoned.
Does the state of things make you question your faith?
No. I think that now more than ever, after seeing the perversion of her goddess's symbol and the greedy things that are being done in her name in the place that she once called home, she always suspected that leaving was the right thing to do. But now, even though there's a little bit of guilt and the thought of what if plaguing her mind, she is convinced now more than she has ever been that she made the right choice, even despite the circumstances that she has found herself in. And she very firmly believes that even though she has been missing Mishakal's voice, that knowing that Kendra has been able to carve out a life for herself in her own absence, that even though she's been missing Mishakal, that she's at least been looking out for her daughter. And there's a small amount of comfort to be taken in that.
So, as at some point you do put your tankard down, its brim is wide, although for the faintest of moments you realize it's a little bit wider and wider in your perspective until there's a slight sheen of blue, and it's almost like a hand mirror. Dusty does not seem to perceive this small little change. There's a little thought in the back of your mind. Which would you rather pursue? That which you came here for? One might say a selfish goal. Or this other path? A burden, to be sure. One that you're not obligated to take on. Which would you rather do right now?
I think that right now it's not a question of what she wants to do, but what is the right thing to do. Of course, she wants to find her daughter, but now knowing that at least some time ago, and she had that small little vision on the ship a while ago, she is now reasonably confident in the assumption that despite being apart from her daughter for so long, that she is thriving in her own way. As much as she wants to find her, she's not abandoning that goal by any means. But right here and right now, she hasn't been here for a long time, but this was her home once. And the people in it are suffering at the hands of the people that once cared for her and instilled her with the very values that caused her to leave. And she knows that she can't abandon them to her own comparatively selfish goals. So I think that right now, given this impossible choice, she knows that Kendra can wait. And she would hope that Kendra would understand.
Roll me 3 wisdom ability checks at advantage, separately.
Just straight wisdom checks.
Straight wisdom checks, yes.
Okay. First one. Second one. Okay. And last one.
Okay. So there's in this warped and elongated mirror, one might say, of water, the image resolves. There's a slight trace of the infinity symbol along its surface before you see a stage play. There's a figure in the middle, happily accepting bouquets of flowers and curtsying and bowing. Their faces behind a mask, although it seems like their eyes lock with yours for a moment before a drop of, actually, what seems like a gold coin drops from thin air. Then you see your mentor arguing venomously, laying into someone that isn't placated. They don't care what she's saying. Even as she deigns to flash magic in her hand, something deadly, but they don't react. Then the image darkens for a moment. The rims turn a sickly green. And the figure looks at you. You think it's just at the image, but then you feel this unsettling chill. It starts at the base of your neck and then goes down. It blinks. And it blinks again, as well as a second set of eyelids before it turns ever for a moment into the snout of something large, black, venomous fog emanating from the sides of his jaw. It blinks again. It grins, and then backhands your mentor. The image ceases. The cup is still between your hands. Back to normal.
This figure that her mentor was arguing with, it's not anybody that she recognized.
Indeed.
Okay. I don't think that Helene knows what to make of this. And I think that she just stares at the brim of the tankard for a while, just waiting to see if anything else will come to her. And when it doesn't, and she still can't shake that sickly feeling of that came with the figure that she saw, her eyes dart back to the pitcher of ale. She's never really been one to indulge in spirits, but now she feels that itch. It's been a very trying few days. But I think that despite her wavering sense of self, really, in this moment, she's just going to reach her hand up, the one that was reaching toward the pitcher of ale, and grab a hold of her own holy symbol. And even though I assume she doesn't hear anything or feel anything, she still knows that she's there. And she just lets her faith guide her. And she just closes her eyes and she takes a deep breath before finally opening them again and letting her hand drop into her lap and just settling back into that silence with Dusty.
Dusty's not actually staring at you with his eyebrow raised.
She'll see that you're staring at her, and she'll give you a small little smile, but then her eyes just kind of fall back to the table, and she doesn't explain herself.
Well, I guess that was a little strange. Either way, nice flower.
Nice flower?
Yeah, he nods up on top of your head. Yeah, a flower just appeared on in your hair.
She looks at you confused and then reaches up, like brushes her hand through her hair. Does she feel a flower?
Indeed, you feel a bloomed flower if you choose to examine it.
Oh, she absolutely will.
So as you remove the flower from your hair, it is a faintly glowing tulip.
Glowing in a
It's
like
a
magical way, or
It's just a small sheen of blue.
okay. She just gives a smile looking at it and just cradles it softly in her hands. Just almost afraid that if she's moves too quickly that she'll damage it. And then she'll reach up and put it back in her hair. And she'll look back up at Dusty and she'll just say, sometimes things just defy explanation.
Yeah, it happens a lot. You don't carry the conversation anymore, they'll go back into silence.
Oh, if that is the end of conversation, the nice little impromptu dinner, the emptying of poor old man Reese's alcohol stores, mainly by two of the party, though the meals are quite appreciated, I would imagine. Evening turns to night. The creatures in the forest are quiet. Nothing stirs as everyone sets about their individual sleeping routines. Assuming, of course, nothing happens between then and whenever now becomes.